First hockey game, not have an extra one. Apparently, they were telling me to bring extra. Unfortunately, hey, maybe next time. Yeah, I'll learn that.
All right, Kevin Walker joined us.
How we doing, guys?
He was Blues fan.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, you're up, yeah.
What's your Mason's at 260 now?
Yeah. Actually, right before I came down on the flight, I weighed in at 259.4, so not quite 260, but close enough.
What's the goal with that? Like, where do you want to get to, and what does that do for you?
Right. Honestly, I didn't plan on it, to be honest. I've been working on a facility, so I've been working with the strength coaches over there, and they got me in a pretty good strength program. I feel a lot stronger, for sure, and that we just came with it, for sure.
What does feeling stronger feel like for you? Is it how the ball comes off? Is it in the weight room?
Yeah. It just feels more explosive. I don't know if I can describe it, but I was in the cage the other day. I just felt a lot more explosive than I do at this point in the offseason there. And so now I'm really ready to get into some live ABs, maybe some matchups to see how I can, how it feels during, in-game play.
So you're living in Jupiter now. What does a typical day look like for you? Are you working with Cheo?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so he's broken it down for me. He really wants me to go through this whole process. So I'll actually break it down for you. I get there probably around 9:45, I stretch out, and then I go work with Cheo at about 10 for about 30 minutes to an hour based on what he wants me to work on that day, whether it's first step quickness, whether it's tracking balls, whether it's coming up and get it, whether it's, my motion towards throwing somebody out. And then so 30 minutes to an hour, I would say, then I'll hop right into the cage and work out right by the 4 cages out in the back. And I'll hit in there for maybe like 45 minutes to an hour as well. Sometimes Donnie will be in there with me, so he'll be in there with me, talking a little bit longer. And then afterwards, I'll go to the strength and conditioning and probably lift. And if I have to run that day, I'll run. So that takes about an hour, 30 minutes. I get back home around 2:30 this time.
Are you happy with the progress you made defensively?
Oh yeah, in the off season, yeah. So we've been working on in the strength and conditioning. I've been working on movements, being a little bit quicker laterally, and I grew fast, and they told me that. So it was just a little bit difficult. I was a little bit behind catching up to how my body moved, but it definitely helped me out a lot with that in this off season. I just have to continue doing my drills so I can maintain it.
And how is that? You talked about adding a little more size, but mobility. You feel like you got a pretty good balance.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And they don't want me to lose that either. Thing is, I put on this weight during in the off season, but usually after I run a little bit during the regular season, that water weight, I'll lose a little bit of it. And so mobility wise, I feel pretty good. I feel kind of like how I did, how fluid I was last off season, but just a little bit stronger and it's a little bit more explosive. If that makes sense.
I know the goals are to win a championship next year, but individual goals with the way you finished last year with the power surge, what would be realistic numbers to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, honestly, I would like to start driving the ball a little bit earlier on. As the season went on, I started driving the ball a lot better. And I think that's just a kind of a vague goal to have right now. And usually my dad and I, we talk about specific, stats goals. So it's to do with stats later on. And once I do, we'll get back to you. And there's some stats I met last season and some that I didn't. So we'll try to, do a better job of, bearing down this year.
Is 30 home runs realistic?
I would like it to be, yes, sir. Yeah, I would like it to be, for sure.
So then dating back to November, John Baylock had said that his ideal starting outfield for 2024 was Rajat Kumar, Tommy Evans, and you. Hearing that, what does that do for your confidence, knowing that you're going to come in 2024 and have a consistent goal, especially knowing how many strides you made defensively last year?
Yeah, absolutely. It means a lot, first of all. But that was my goal off the gate, to be a starting right fielder, for sure. So I've been a lot of work in this offseason. But the year I'm saying, that definitely meant a lot to me, for sure.
Well, you think it all about this time last year, you were sitting up there talking about trying to make the team.
Right.
Did you reflect, when you got away from it and reflect on all the things that you did last season?
Yeah, absolutely. I took that time, kind of after the season. Body's tired after the season, obviously, but there's a little bit of just nostalgic feeling to it. And just look back on the season. Sometimes it felt long based on how my body felt at the end of the year, but I look back, it went really quickly, and so I have to remind myself to enjoy every part of baseball because it is a really fun sport.
What do you feel like you learned most about this in your first full season?
Most about myself.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good question, man. I think I learned that I'm gonna have to, I gotta forget some of the things I learned coming up here because having all these veterans, having all these coaches, man, they taught me a lot about the game, and that I think the one thing I learned about myself is that I have to always be able to adjust and be coachable, to be honest, because you never know. I didn't ever feel like I knew, the whole game because they're always teaching me something.
Jordan, what did you see in Mason when he struggled offensively? And what do you think that does as far as driving him to make the show a little bit better?
Yeah, honestly, I think everybody struggled. It just happened to him happened at the beginning. But I wasn't worried. I'm not worried about him at all. I've seen him hit like for 2020. I've seen him hit for 4 years now. I know that he can handle it, and I know what type of player that he is, and I think that he just needs to, relax, just like how I had a problem relaxing. I think we're pretty similar when it comes to that. And once he, fully relaxes, he can play his game. He's going to be great. He's going to be a great defender, as you guys know. So no problem with him at all.
You mentioned that he when he gets to a level, he kind of struggles, adjusts, then takes off.
Yeah.
You know better than anybody what that looks like from the outside.
Yeah.
Is that his competitiveness? Is that how analytical he is?
Yeah, no, I think it just goes with some competitiveness as well. We're always competing, whether it's on the baseball field or off playing video games. He'll say he's better than me at video games. I'll disagree with that. But he's always competitive. Everything we do, when it came to either sports or just pretty much anything. When it comes to arguing who's the best basketball player of all time, I'll argue Jordan. He argues LeBron. But he's competitive with that. So it's just I think it's the competitive spirit that he has.
And what kind of hitter can he be? What for those of us who really haven't seen that day to day, what kind of offensive player can he be?
I think he's going to be a really good hitter for average, but I think he has some power. I think people sleep on his power a lot. So I think he's going to hit a little bit more home runs than people think he's going to be. So I think he's going to be a pretty complete hitter when it comes down to it.
Just about the second video, one thing you talked about, so that you're giving some advice about when training with him in the spot, how much is that he's in. How do those conversations come up? And some of the things that you kind of giving him as kind of some advice as to
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, for guys like that, it's kind of hard to give advice in that situation because he's just so good. Like, I'm going to tell him, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to the game, I shouldn't tell him anything. Just keep doing what he's doing. Unbelievable athlete. I don't know if you guys seen him, but have you guys? He's an unbelievable basketball player, unbelievable bowler. He's kind of like the Mookie Betts of the Cardinals, I would say. But yeah, it's hard to tell a guy, to give advice to someone who's that good. When it comes to it, I just kind of give them little tidbits and just on how it's going to go. Your first full spring training and things like that. And I expect them, to be up pretty soon as well. So I'll just try to give them, a few heads up about some things, just how things work and how he's going to go about something.
Jordan, Cheo is tough love.
Oh yeah,
He tells you
absolutely,
the truth.
for sure.
What's it like every day? I mean, is he on you, riding you pretty hard? Is he giving you tips?
Yeah, absolutely. I would like it like that. I wouldn't want him to sugarcoat it at all. I feel like when you're sugarcoating, you're trying to keep from hurting someone's feelings. But no, I mean, sometimes you're going to have to hurt someone's feelings if you really want to be good at something, for sure. So yeah, absolutely, he's definitely tough on me.
What into the decision to spend, his offseason down in Florida?
Yeah, absolutely. So these the strength and conditioning coaches, they told me, they want to have eyes on me. And I feel like I trust them because they've seen me all season. They've seen my body work. They know better than any, strength coach, like what to do and things like that. So I have that trust with them. They've been working with me, and I've been really happy with the results so far.
Last year, there was 7 different guys that you played next to in center field. Tommy Edman as the stated center fielder going into the year. What kind of value can that have? Just know I'm going to play next to this guy.
Oh, major value. As you saw, Tommy Evans is a fantastic outfielder. If any of that rubs up on me, I feel like that's a pretty good thing for sure.
Communication-wise, what would that do for you guys out there?
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, if I can just pick his brain a little bit, talk to him a little bit, what he sees, because his jumps and his routes are very, very, very good, and that's something that I really wanted to focus on this offseason. And that's just the first step as well. So once I get that down packed, getting the balls, tracking the balls, and then using some of my athleticism can definitely help him become a great outfielder. So just that communication is very important, I believe. If that answers your question.
Are jumps and routes something that you can
measure against the baseline? Like, is there videos or testing that shows you were here, now you're
Yeah.
here, field based?
Yeah, actually, so when I'm working with Jared, he said he looked at video. He said when my jumps were better than others. And it actually comes to, actually, I'm glad you asked, because it comes to the thing we were talking about the other day. I have a tendency to start, like, when I see a ball, I go after it, and then try to make sure that, I read it right, so I come back on my heels a little bit more. And he's been really working with me and teaching me to just go after it, trust your gut instinct. And so he said he can tell the difference between me getting to the ball later in the season and early in the season, like kind of the same ball. And so I think that's just something that helps. It's not always maybe whether you're athletic enough or not. It's just based on like a mental mindset of trusting your first gut instinct.
How much is sound, right? Where the ball comes off the bat, sounds terrible, but especially the big league stadium
Right.
too, right? That does not exist maybe in Florida.
And some players talk about how it comes off the bat. And I think maybe part of my issue I couldn't really tell, to be honest. Sometimes it sounded harder than it actually was. And so I really don't want to, trust that as much. I kind of just want to trust my eyes a little bit more than my ears.
Jordan, you made the jump from Springfield, go to St. Louis, and you spent some time in Memphis. What did last year teach you about kind of the differences between minor league ball and what it takes to thrive in the big leagues and pay attention to detail and things like that?
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to that, the big leagues get to be a lot more consistent. I have to be on a lot more than I would have to in the minor leagues. I'm not saying the minor leagues is easy because it's definitely not. But in the big leagues, they made less mistakes. So those mistakes, I would have to capitalize on when they did make those mistakes, and so I would have to be better, a lot more consistently.
Just having that experience, like to lean back on, like now you've got that internalized a little bit. How much does that help you? Does it give you like an added confidence going into this year because there's less that's you know what to expect to an extent?
Yeah. I actually always don't think I know all of what I need to know. But yeah, definitely. If your question was, does it give me confidence? Absolutely. Having my first year is definitely something I can look back on. Definitely a first step in my career. It definitely helps me with my confidence, that's for sure.
So you were asked, what you feel like something like it Mason. After a year of the big league, what sort of a hitter do you feel like you should be in your second year?
Yeah, I've always wanted to be a hitter that can drive the ball, and now that I've seen for a year how they pitched me last year and what to expect, talking to Goldie, talking to Arenado, how my approach should be at the plate, I thought I could be a consistent, hitter that drives the ball to all parts of the field and I can drive the ball over the wall. So I want to also be a consistent hitter as well. I want to be able to hit the ball and get on base by hitting the ball higher than the average. You know what I'm saying? So I want to hit for average. I want to hit for power, and I believe based off the first season, if I make those adjustments this offseason, that I can do both of those.
Jordan Brendan was in here before you were. He was pretty blunt about saying this team's going to look different next year in terms of how it plays. Has he been a steady driver of that conversation this offseason for you guys? Because he was in a weird spot last year. Watching the season play out while he was waiting.
Right. I honestly haven't talked to him too much about it. Most of my conversations with him have been about, hitting baseball. So whenever I get a chance to talk to him in the cage, he's actually kind of been one of my hitting coaches, I guess you'd say. He sees what I'm doing, and he sees, what I can work on, why I'm pulling off the ball in the cage maybe, or why I'm cutting myself off in the cage. He's the guy to talk to about that. So most of our conversations have been hitting wise, stuff like that.
What is Brendan Donovan like as a leader?
Yeah, he's stoked, man. He'll tell you exactly how it is, and I wouldn't want it any other way. He will hurt your feelings, that's for sure. But I think that's a good thing about him. When he tells you exactly how it is, he gets to the point, he makes it short and quick, but you know he loves you, and he wants the best for you. And so whenever you see something that you're doing wrong, he'll let you know for sure.
Does that happen with you in terms of playing outfield, or what would be the example where you said
Toward the beginning of the offseason, we were hitting the cage, and he was talking about my hip mobility, which has gotten a lot better as throughout the whole offseason. But he was like, "Yeah, you can't hit like this." I was like, "You gotta get those hips right and things like that." So I mean, obviously, he was telling me, and he wanted the best for me, but he wasn't trying to hurt me anyway as well. And I'm glad he did tell me that. So the strength coaches I've been working with them, they've also told me that as well. But he's the first person to tell me as blunt as that, for sure.
Jordan, winter warm-up is a unique experience. You're able to go on the road in a different way, meet different people, meet fans. Can you talk about what that does for the camaraderie between the team when you can go out and do some more fun things with
Yeah,
one another?
yeah, absolutely, yeah. So you're talking about the whole Winter World
Oh,
experience. Yeah,
caravan,
I'm having a great time over here, absolutely. So we got to travel, we got to see family everywhere, and just seeing how they're excited. I went just a bit of a Peoria route, so seeing how excited they are, man, like, that gives you a different feel for the game. Like, you know, I mean, obviously we're playing for them. I play for them, I play for my family, and so being able to see how excited they are, how much they want you to succeed, gives you this extra drive to be better. That answers your question.
Jordan, Donnie mentioned text chains among your players, and it said you're going to see a hungry ball club.
Yeah.
Who's the drivers of that? Who's picking up? Who's motivating guys?
Yeah, actually, I would say Donnie's a head driver. Just something I haven't talked to him, you know, our one-on-one conversation like that. With the group chat, yeah, he's, you know, talking about he's really helping us out. Last year, you know, it was Wayne Wright, but I mean, once we all convene and see each other in this spring training, I think that there's going to be some talks, and there's definitely going to be some guys, you know, motivating the group. And at least mentioned, I'm really excited to meet these new guys, like Lance Lynn, Sonny Gray, Kyle Gibson. I've heard a lot about them and a lot about their leadership, so I'm looking forward to them to, you know, help drive the group as well.
Jordan, when Donovan was in here, he talked about, it was mostly in the batter's box, but sometimes it's best just to not think.
Yeah.
And you were talking about in the outfield, sometimes
Yeah.
trusting your instinct. Is that some things you might be focusing on this offseason out there? Trust your instinct and maybe not think as much?
Yeah, actually, he put it perfectly. Yeah, Donnie usually has the right way to say it. Yeah, just not think and trust your instincts. Absolutely, because when you get to thinking, that's kind of, you know, when things go a little bit haywire.
Great, Jordan. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys. Good to see you.